Yo.
Yes, sir.
What's up, guys?
Yes.
This DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2. Yo.
Yeah.
On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to talk about this case, Senzo Meyiwa's case.
Yeah.
We call it Senzo Meyiwa's case, but is it still Senzo Meyiwa's case? Greetings to everyone. And again, thank you for watching our videos. For those who haven't watched these videos, some of them other than Senzo Meyiwa, please go and watch them. It is good to our channel. It rewards us for doing that. So Emily, greet our people.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much again for showing up to the chat. And yes, it's still the same regular programming. Please like the video. We are begging for likes over here, okay? On this channel, we beg. We beg for likes, and please hit that like button before we even get started. But I'm just gonna get started right away without wasting any more time because I feel like a lot happened. The judge said that Mr. Khumalo, Advocate Khumalo, must read all the statements into the record before contradictions could be pointed out. So in the first statement that was read in the court, Zandi was mentioned in, it said, and I quote, when Tumelo Mtogo Kelly and Senzo Meyiwa stood and chatted outside, my mother went out to them and told them they must come inside and say their goodbyes properly. The taller intruder was a bit light in complexion.
So,
the first shot.
So just pointing out the contradiction there from what we are hearing is that someone somewhere who testified or who's about to testify, he said that was Kaylee who said that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The taller intruder was a bit light in complexion. The first shot hit the kitchen door and the second one hit the floor before she ran into the bathroom. Then the third went off and was not as loud as the first two. When she ran out of the house to look for help, she saw Kaya, the neighbor, when she ran out and went to look for help at Ntabiseng's house. In the second statement made on the 6th of November 2014, Zandi says that when Tumelo Mtogo, Senzo and Kelly were outside chatting, Kelly came inside and said Senzo is leaving, and my mom then said to her, tell him to come inside and say their goodbyes properly. Senzo was grabbed the suspect and we all joined in. So Senzo grabbed the suspect and we all joined in assaulting him. It was myself, Senzo, and my mom who were busy with that suspect while the second suspect was fighting for the door with Kelly at the bathroom. It should be the bedroom. My apologies. I was standing next to Tumelo at that moment and I grabbed his walking stick and hit the suspect on the head. The first suspect, who had dreadlocks, was dark in complexion, had no marks on the face, had a glowing shiny skin, wore black and brown hat. The second one was taller, slim, light in complexion. And then in the third statement that was written in the 10th of February 2018, some of the things Zandi said there is that she was in a radio interview and she had Longwe say it was a robbery gone wrong. She says, I was shocked because we were attacked and he was saying it was a robbery gone wrong. During the robbery, I saw the gun which made a clicking noise and not that it was a hammer. We removed the taller one from the bedroom door and pushed him towards the kitchen door. And the one with the gun was fighting with Senzo. I grabbed a crutch and tried to hit him, but I couldn't reach him. And then Tumelo took it and hit him with it. In the radio interview, she says that she has no idea why Longwe thinks that the suspects were foreigners. They spoke in Zulu, and I'm Zulu. 3 shots. When the first shot went, I was there. And when the last 2 shots went, I was already in the bathroom.
You see, every time we go through this case, it serves as a reminder as to why if indeed Joyce did say that these people who were in the house should be arrested. These are statements of people who were in the house that we were supposed to lean on into finding out what happened to Senzo. But these statements are
very
contradicting.
They're very confusing.
Someone else is saying there was Zulu Sotho. Someone else is saying Zulu. I'm sure it was Zulu. In the mix, someone else says these were foreigners.
Very, very, very contradicting. The more you listen, the more you get confused. So after Senzo Meyiwa was shot, Zandi in the statement says that, and I quote, "My sister called Longwe's father only to inform him. And I can't remember which phone she used to call.
Yes.
I don't know when she made the SIM swap after the phone was stolen." After the incident, Longwe had his phone with him all the time. The visibility was good as the lights were on and there were people on the street. When we took Senzo to the hospital, Longwe was nowhere to be found. Further in the radio interview, he referred to Senzo as my goalkeeper. He mentioned Senzo Meyiwa was shot on the chest and yet he was not in the room. Even when he came to the hospital, he never saw him. First night, the whole family slept in Malberton. Longwe slept in Malberton too. I was surprised. My boyfriend ran from the house without protecting me as his girlfriend. I still have not asked him why he did that.
Even today.
So Khumalo said that in court you said you couldn't hit the suspect because you were short and there were people in front of you. Then Zandi said yes, but you mentioned in the statement that you did hit him on the head. And then she said, I tried to hit but I couldn't reach. Khumalo then I put it to you. I put it to you that from the inconsistencies, it's clear the deceased was shot by one of the people in the house. There was no robbery, and Zandi said, what you are saying does not exist. I wouldn't come to court to lie and also tell the police lies. So as I was going through it throughout the technical difficulties from the SABC, honey, it was a lot today. Okay, it was a lot. So the contours were added recently. Apparently, she never gave the description of the contours in 2014.
Yeah. So there is nothing like that in her
statement. They are only popping up in her testimony in
so
court.
Is even on the drawing,
she didn't contribute to the contours. These contours are just something that recently, she put in her statement. So a very interesting interaction also happened between Advocate Khumalo and Ubabu Jonas in court today, the court interpreter, just before the sound went off. So they asked Zandi, can you give the description of the firearm that was in the hands of the first intruder? And then Zandi said, just like I said before, I don't know firearms. And what I saw on that day was a firearm that was darkish. And then they reminded her, even I am concerned. Darkish is not a color, We need a color that you saw. We really need that color, witness number one. Okay, this darkish, colorish, what thingy, it's taking us nowhere. So the first suspect held the hammer of the firearm. Now they were reading from Exhibit P1, paragraph 12, the first of her statement. If you're confused what I'm talking, her statement that she wrote. The first suspect held the hammer of the firearm and said in isiZulu, "Kipani amafone nemali," which means bring cell phone and money, while he was pointing the firearm at us. Okay. Then the interpreter asked, which part is the hammer? Then Khumalo said, I intend on getting it from the witness. Then Jonas said that I can't interpret it if I don't know it. Hebana. I was like, is Jonas a lawyer now?
Looking for answers.
Is he representing the witness? What is going on? And why did he not want to verify? All of a sudden he wants to verify what is written on the statement with what the lawyers are saying throughout their mouth. Isn't his job to interpret?
It is.
So I was perplexed. Why are you sounding like you're defending witness number one? So that was very interesting for me. It was a very interesting interaction. I was like, hey, Jonas, you're getting carried away. Calm down. Calm down, Bab Jonas. Now asking Mr. Khumalo which part is the hammer. That was Jonas asking Advocate Khumalo which part was the hammer. And I was like, hey, man. So Khumalo said, what I'm trying to get at is that I'm reading from the statement. So the question that is going to follow was around what was contained in her statement. Then the judge asked, why don't you ask the witness, what did she mean by a hammer? They'll be able to respond, I'm sure. Yeah, Jonas was getting carried away there. And then Mr. Khumalo was like, what did you mean by pulling the arm of the firearm? And then that's when the sound started doing funny things, guys. I tried to collect from other people who were in court, our journalists, but I couldn't find much, so I'm just going to leave it hanging a bit there. Please, my apologies, forgive me. And then Khumalo says, while Zandi told this court that she could not describe the gun, in one of the statements she said one of the intruders pulled the hammer off the firearm. And then Khumalo said, I have no control over what police write. That is Zandi's response. So Khumalo then asked, I put it to you that you are shifting the goalposts to blame the police. Now, guys, this part is the part that was silent. I got it from the journalists who were in court. So she said, I put it to you that you're shifting the goalposts to blame the police. Then Khumalo said, well, that's what you say. I'm here to tell the truth. Then advocate says, there's an SMS Longwe sent to Twala saying Senzo was shot in front of us. He's suggesting he was there, but you said Longwe ran out. Then Khumalo said he will come here to tell the court. I can't speak on behalf of him. Call Longwe. Then Zandi said, I am here for myself, not for Longwe. So Mr. Khumalo then said, I put it to you that the evidence which is not consistent in your statements and what you said in court suggests that there was no robbery. The deceased was shot by one of the people in the house. Then Khumalo said the deceased did not shoot himself. Khumalo then responded by saying, what you are saying does not exist. So Khumalo then continued to say, you further told this court in your evidence in chief that the person you pointed out or identified was not the right true. And the person that you were identifying or pointing out in the identity parade, was it the first or the second intruder? And then Zandi said, what I remember is that he had dreads, which suggests that I was pointing the first intruder. The person you pointed out was number 2. And then Zandi said, I can't remember. But with Baloi's examination, girl utates number 2. I don't know if I'm the only one who remembers this, guys. Girl utate number 2, right? So Khumalo then said, I'm telling you that the person you pointed out was number 2. And then Zandi, Lorraine started with her arrogance. Meaning I'm hearing it from you.
Other people were asking, why is the judge quiet when it comes to that? Which is a good thing, I think, letting things flow as much as they could. What you can also, I think, what this judge, with an experience that they have, they know that being evasive when you are being asked questions and being cheeky, it's another sign that they also look at. In their judgment, I'm sure they will consider that.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Then Khumalo said that he is in possession of a photo album that was taken in the identification parade on the 29th of October 2014. They showed Zandi that the person was holding number 2, and she confirmed it. Khumalo then said, "You confirm that the person is holding number 2?" And then she said, "Yes, I can see. You said in one of your responses that you pointed at a person who had dreadlocks. Is that person having dreadlocks?" Then Zandi said, "Yes, he doesn't have them. But what I know is that there was no reason for me to call him to the front. As you can see, I was talking about the facial features.
Yes.
He is dark and has contours, as there are small similarities." Khumalo said, "Ma'am, the point I'm getting at is that the person you pointed out that day had dreadlocks, which necessitated me to go to the photo album to point to you that the person you pointed out does not have dreadlocks. So you are not telling the truth when you say that the person you pointed out in that parade has dreadlocks." Then Zandi said, "First of all, advocate, 8 years have passed. Minor details, according to me, slowly fade away. But what I know is that the one I called there was a reason." I was like, in my head, in my opinion, lies. But we move.
Welcome, Opa, to our membership. Thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome, Opa.
I pinned Snenhlanhla's request here, Emily. Snenhlanhla is saying that, but guys, you need to inform us earlier on the time we are going to go live. Good evening.
I can't do that.
We cannot. Reason being, we have 4 to 5. I mean 8 to 5 work, or 8 to 4 work. So it is difficult to compile all this information without getting it that much wrong. So it becomes, I mean, what determines that when we start, it's after knowing exactly that we have almost covered everything that you are going to need. So if we were to say we are starting at 9, but only to find out we are going to finish at 9:30, for example, that's another thing. You wouldn't be happy with that because we won't be giving you.
Or even worse, 2 hours later.
Yes.
You would not be happy with that because we gave you a time that you are certain of.
Yes.
And then we don't show up on that time because a lot is happening, guys.
And
we
another
also
thing is that we have load shedding.
Yes, we have challenges.
So as you can see, we try to boost whatever that we need to boost so that we can work for you. We are not saying that we are not committing at the time that we specific time, but it's mostly certain that around this time we should have started or concluded because we still need to go to work. I still need to move out and go somewhere, go home, and then we still need to go to work at the end of the day. So we want to give you as much as we can, but take that into consideration. This case is long, and sometimes you are working, you can't even listen. So you have to sit down and
pause it, and focus on your work, and then continue once you are done.
Yes,
you understand.
Yes.
So it's not a full time.
Unfortunately, we're not at that state of maybe other podcasts that you have seen. We're not at that stage where we can leave our jobs.
They're making the kaching and they are able to do this on a full-time basis. No, we're not at that level. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, you can
just
continue.
have to work with us, right? So Khumalo then said, but what is documented there, ma'am? It does not go along the lines that you did point out somebody who was not the right person, but resembled the features of the one of the intruders, because that is not what is documented here. That form is documented in a manner to show or to hit a person who on 2014-10-26 robbed you, shot and killed Senzo. And then Zandi said, all I'm trying to say is that I had never done an ID parade before. And what I saw were similarities on his face. So I saw it best to say what I saw. What the police wrote, I don't know. The results of the identity parade that you pointed out of number 2 were positive. Do you know what happened to this person? /C. They refer to that person as /C. Then Zandi said, how would I know? Because I don't even know that person. And then Khumalo said, you confirm that that /C, that is the person you pointed out, is not amongst the accused persons in court. Then Zandi said, first of all, I never said that it's him. I said he had similar features that are similar. Even as I went out, I was asking myself and answering that no, it was not him. I was certain. But my question is, did you tell the police? Did you inform the police that you were not certain so that they could put it down, you know? Then the police themselves arrested who they arrested because there was evidence. And I'm like, what evidence, ma'am? You know, what evidence are you talking about? They would never just mistaken them. So according to Zandi, the police would never just sugela those people. So Khumalo then said, just stick to the question I'm asking. I asked you a simple question. I asked you that /C is not amongst the accused persons before court, yes or no? Then Baloyi objected, saying that the witness has already answered. Then Zandi said to Khumalo that he must look at his tone when he talks to her. She's not his wife. I'm someone's wife. That's what she said. Watch your tone. Khumalo said he felt intimidated. I was like, my lord, that's intimidating. And then Zandi was like, but you're also shouting, don't you think?
Yes, we are coming back. We are coming back. Yeah. Yes, we are back.
Okay.
Probably my fault because I normally restart everything before starting.
Okay, but as long as we're back.
It's a very sad thing.
So it's still buffering.
It is buffering, and it's buffering a lot. It's your choice, guys. Do you want me to restart everything? Because I'm trying to look at, we don't. No, guys, I need to restart my computer. Unfortunately.
But I will continue. It will be a part 2.
I'm just going to need to restart it.
Yeah, it will be a part 2. So, guys,
I need to restart everything.
Check the next part. We will be live in the next, let's say, maybe.
Hey guys, we are back. Hoping that it's better now.
Life happens.
Yeah. Continue, Amy.
Even technical things happen at Mzansi reality.
SABC.
Okay, guys, I'm just going to continue with the part where Zandi said that she's here to assist the court and Khumalo is here to block what they were doing. And she said, so don't raise your voice, okay? Don't raise your voice at me. And I'm like, but Khumalo never raised his voice. Or did I miss something, guys? Guys, did I miss something? Did Khumalo shout at Zandi, Lorraine at any point in time?
No, he never.
So what was intimidating about Lorraine answering whether the person she pointed at the identity parade was not amongst any of the accused that were in court? Or did I miss something? Why didn't she want to answer that specific question?
Because it maybe was a hard question.
It was a difficult question. So the judge had to reprimand Lorraine, and he said, Miss Khumalo, please. And the judge asked why they continued to point out the person who was pointed at is not in court. So I also like how the judge handled that whole situation. I mean, he did not entertain Lorraine's tantrum at all. Like, he kept his cool and wanted to know more from Advocate Khumalo as to why that specific question needed an answer. Okay, and Khumalo said, I must put it to you, ma'am, that you have a tendency of pointing out at wrong persons willy-nilly. And then Zandi said, I'm not afraid. I'm not mad, sir. I have never worked as a psychiatrist or have had a psychiatrist tell me that there's something wrong with my mind or with my eyes, that which I see. That is which I see. Then Khumalo then said the person who was arrested from the ID parade was Zama, and he says you knew him. Okay, they showed him a photo of Zama Mbata, and Zandi said that she didn't know him, but she heard that he lives in Spruit. Mr. Anonymous, pay attention. She's saying that she didn't know Zama Mbata. What she heard is that he lives in Spruit.
She heard by who?
Zamo did an affidavit to the effect that she did know him. Zandi then said, as you know, my family is very popular. Maybe he knows me, but I don't know him.
Okay.
To think at the time, the only person we knew was your sister, girl. The only person we knew was your sister. She was the only person that was famous. You did not qualify for that. It was 2014. Your sister's name was the one that was in the press all over the media. Not you.
Yes.
Not your mother. So your family was not. Your sister was. Not you. Okay? So Khumalo then said that he was going to read Zamo's statement. And it said, I quote, I was working at Mr. Mbata's car wash at Mzamo's section. Kelly Khumalo, Zandi Khumalo, and Senzo Meyiwa used to drop their cars here at the car wash. They would give their cars and I would wash them. Then Zandi said, first of all, during the time I didn't have a car, so which car would I take to the car wash? Your sister's car. Allegedly. And then when I'm at the car wash, I'm not there to look at men. Okay. Confirming that she has been at the car wash. That last part there confirmed that, girl, you've been to the car wash.
So the question is, have you or have you not been at the car wash?
Yes. She confirmed it. She was at the car wash. She's been there.
Why are you denying that you were at car wash at some point?
So the statement went on to further say that Kelly and Zandi knew I had not killed Senzo, but they didn't tell the police about how I'd been washing their cars. Then Advocate Baloy objected, and Zandi said that she didn't have a car then and that she didn't know this gentleman. She didn't even know who pointed him out at the ID parade. He also said that I won't forget. What I won't forget is the police were saying Kelly Khumalo's mother was the one who pointed me out. Firstly, the Khumalos are family. Kelly Khumalo, Zandi Khumalo, Senzo Meyiwa, and Kelly Khumalo's mother were well known to me, and they knew me very well. Zandi then said, like I said already, people may think you know them when you actually don't. So you are telling me that the car wash that you would go to, girl,
yes,
you didn't know who was washing the cars at that car wash. Khumalo then said, for your information, your mother was the fourth witness. She pointed out Zamambata. And then Zandi said, I'm hearing that for the first time from you. No, you're not. This one I don't believe. You're hearing it for the first time in court. No, if you watch the Netflix documentary, then you've definitely heard it. Okay. Then Khumalo then said charges against him were withdrawn by the state for insufficient evidence, and that is why he's not among the people here in court. The judge asked if he was arrested and appeared in court. Khumalo said yes. Okay, and Zandi said this Mbata guy was not pointed out by me. As to what As to what happened thereafter, I don't know why it is my concern.
I think the question would be, Zandi, you said on your way back, you discussed that there was no one there. I think there's something like that. They
No one
discussed when from that parade.
Yes, they were having a conversation on their way
How
home.
come in that discussion you didn't have that conversation that your mother pointed someone?
And that you also saw someone
You
with
also saw
similar
someone with
facial
similar
features.
facial features.
That conversation never came up.
Why didn't you do that?
I don't know. And you know, when she's saying that she doesn't care, or it's none of her concern what happened to Zamombata afterwards, or Zamambata afterwards. And I'm asking myself, ma'am, all this time you've been responding to the public, you feel like the public is attacking you, and the public should care about you, right, ma'am? When it's clear that you don't care about other people much, you know, it should be of concern.
It should.
That Zamombata was wrongfully accused.
It should. It should. I mean, I've been wanting to discuss, but guys, I'm watching this side. So, guys, please subscribe. Now I think it's clear why you guys should subscribe and in supporting us by watching and doing all these things, because one man doing all these things, there are things that are bound to happen along the way. So I couldn't have known that this laptop needed an update. I couldn't have known that I needed to do other stuff, because I'm also looking at the case and checking everything.
The details.
So please subscribe, guys. Don't hesitate to subscribe if you feel that this content is what you need and is what you
want to
guys
see more
want to
of.
see more most of the time, so that we can be able to get a third person to look into these things. Or maybe I take a back seat, someone comes and sit here where I'm sitting, and then I focus on this technical stuff.
We also need a team. How bandla.
So please
We
like
also
the
need
video.
a team. It would be
By
nice.
liking your video, we are not saying that we need money from you. Just like the video, subscribe, watch the videos, watch the adverts. That's all we are asking for. And for those who obviously want to be members, like the member that joined, thank you very much for doing that.
Thank you.
Because it is assisting us. We are doing all these things from our pockets, and then we still have to do the technical stuff. We still have to fix the sound. We still have to make sure that the mics are fine. I have now learned sound. I have learned all these things on my own. Yes, I can do them. I don't mind. I can do them. But
even lighting, guys.
I need to.
Lighting in itself is
I
a
need
problem.
to get someone to do some of these things so that I can do maybe half of it.
That would be great.
So I have to run here, do all these things. And guys, those likes, when you see them at 200, and there are people that obviously who are complaining. They even send us WhatsApp complaining.
But they don't know. Hey,
Guys, look at these things and just like the
You
video.
just experience a glimpse of what would happen if we forced to go live and we're not ready to go live. That was a taste of what could possibly go wrong every single day. We wouldn't have such a smooth broadcast because it's just the two of us. And Mr. Anonymous is the one who's handling most of the technical stuff. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time.
Okay, let's continue.
So yeah, there was another ID parade that was conducted on the 20th of January 2017 in Pietermaritzburg New Prison. So the only witness who attended that ID parade was Mthokozisi Twala. And Zandi says, I don't know that what I'm hearing it from you for the first time. Then Mthokozisi Twala pointed out Ayanda Madondo, who is not amongst the accused. So Baloyi objected that it is not related to this witness. Mthokozisi Twala will come and explain the circumstances of.
But why is Baloyi objecting? Because that was not a question. That was for your information.
More like a for FYI, you know.
Just know that one of the people that were in the house actually have pointed someone different, which is now a third one if you count the people that are sitting here on the stand and the rest of the one Zamugu Lembata. Three people have been pointed out. So we are, as advocate would say, willy-nilly pointing people so that we close the case.
The heat is off from us. Or something
Is that what is happening
allegedly
here? Is that we are going to point anyone? We can even point Mr. Anonymous.
Anyone will do.
Guys, by the way, just to off-ramp a bit, those people who were asking me about the TIFO, whether TIFO is still is debarred. Today, TIFO was in court in Randburg. And I'm sure it's a famous case. They would know it. What is it called?
It's regarding the security
of the number two.
VIP
security. Yes. TIFO is there.
That whole shebang bang that was happening a couple of weeks ago, I think we didn't cover it. I couldn't cover it. I didn't have time. But
some of you could have seen it.
Yes, you've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it because our Mzansi Reality family, honey, is updated on everything that is happening, especially concerning.
So that goes back to the question that I saw many people at some point arguing.
They wanted an answer.
Are we saying that he's debarred or not? Are we still on that? He's debarred, he's not debarred?
He told us he's not debarred.
He told us he's not debarred.
And we believed him.
We believed him. He's in court now. How can he be in court representing someone? I'm not going to say who is representing. But that's what I wanted to tell you. That some of the things that we probably see about this case that we're currently on now, maybe there was a point in saying that I'm being removed in this case. You remember when he was arrested?
Yes, in court.
They don't want me in this case. You remember that part?
Do you?
Let's continue.
So, and then the judge said, remember, we have not put it to that person who was amongst you in the house, right? So Khumalo then said it would mean now that 3 persons were pointed out in different identification parades, one on the 29th of October 2014 and another on the 20th of January 2017. We agree then that there were 3 suspects who attended the identity parade. And then Zandi said, I will speak for the one that was pointed out by myself. And as you've heard, under which circumstances I pointed the person out. So I repeat that I pointed at the person because of the features. But I was not saying that it's him. So Khumalo then said, I will put it to you that you and other witnesses, that is you and your mother Mthokozisi Twala, have this tendency to point out innocent people willy-nilly in order to avoid a suggestion which I'm going to make to you that the deceased was killed by the person who was in the house and that there was no robbery there and he did not shoot himself.
I like the angle that Khumalo took by first leading all this and then coming back to that. Do you see, if we allowed that objection of what was pointed in KZN, then it would not make sense. It would look like it will make the same advocate look crazy.
Then Zandi said, you can put it to me 50 times. I was like, Tata Lorraine. If I didn't know better, I would say Lorraine watches. It was like, you can put it to me 50 times. If that makes you sleep well at night. I'm like, Evanda. But there were 2 intruders that came into the house and it will never change. Okay. So in my also 2 cents, I'm like, Lorraine, he has to put it to you as a defense attorney. It's his job. When I just answer the questions, yours is just to respond, not to try and gaslight the person while they're doing that job. Okay, that's not nice. It's making you look very questionable. So Khumalo then said, I must place it on the record that I don't like it when you talk to me like that. I'm trying my best to represent my client, to assist the court. But when you start to answer like that, I don't take it lightly. Then Zandi said, me too. If you raise your voice, I will do the same. And by the way, disclaimer, Khumalo never raised his voice anyway, my opinion.
In my opinion too.
So
never raised his voice.
So it's up to you. If you respect me as a witness, I will also do that. So she really thinks that the court is that ENCA interview she had last year, ne? A stage for you to perform.
Yeah, it does look like that. It's like I'm here to kill it.
Then Khumalo said, went to her sister's statements. So Kelly Khumalo also had statements that were done.
You know, when I'm thinking of the fact that I heard today that is not part of Dinovo.
So Baloyi said, we have already communicated to defense at this stage. There is no intention to call Kelly Khumalo in as a witness.
So
Khumalo
killing
said,
everything that was said by Kelly Khumalo like that, boom.
Yes, that was an attempt.
So they have to now call Kelly Khumalo as a defense lawyer.
As a state witness.
Is he coming as a state witness or as
Kelly Khumalo, should she be called, she has to come in as a state witness now on this case.
No, but the state is not calling Kelly.
So they were supposed to be subpoenaed by the defense.
Yeah.
Yo.
Isn't it that what the judge was saying?
So go waited for that long. You mara Kelly mara. Yo.
One thing for sure, I have not seen. I don't know what he said. Mostly, we don't know as yet much of what he said. But whatever that he might have said, Baloyi didn't want to associate with it.
Kelly.
And it's alleged. I don't think that.
Because Khumalo said we would like to bring an application to call her in. So if Khumalo, the defense attorney, is the one calling her in, she's a witness for the defense now.
That's how it is. So it's like, it's not working for me. I don't think this is going to push my story or my narrative. Take this person so that if it goes wrong or if it says something that is contradictory to what I was said by the others who were in the house, I can always say, but I didn't call this person. You called this person.
So it's very baffling as to why the state never considered Kelly Khumalo as a witness. That is very,
but listen to the statement. Let's look at the statement. Just read what we have gathered in terms of what Kelly said.
All right. Yeah, ne? So Khumalo then said, from the statement, quoting from Kelly Khumalo's statement, the one suspect with the gun was threatening people in the living room. And the tall, skinny one left the bedroom door and went to the living room where his friend was. I then remembered that my child was in the other bedroom and I opened the door to see what was happening. I then saw my mom struggling with the tall, skinny guy.
Okay. How did she see that she left the door? He left the door. The guy left the door. Door is closed. Look, it's like now where we are shooting. It's closed. How would you see someone that was chasing you getting into this area of recording? How would you know that that person has left now? Is that a sitting room?
I'm afraid of even saying, because I feel like some of the things that I would suggest, I hear them in court.
Let's go. Let's continue.
I hear them because I don't want to answer this one. I'm curious to hear what she's going to answer. Then Senzo Mtogo and Tumelo were busy struggling with the gunman. I then tried to help my mother to push the tall guy. I did not know or see what was happening behind me. I only heard gunshots. I jumped backwards and my sister said something hit her leg and she thought she was shot. I then saw Senzo running. They had to fix this. It was backwards, but they had to fix it to forward to me trying to grab me. I grabbed him, but I could see that he was weak.
So, one thing that we are gathering here, the statement of Kelly is not saying that the guy was taken by the group of the people who were in the house from the door, pushed together with a friend who was in a sitting room, by the way.
Oh, it doesn't say that.
So you see, let's continue.
And then it says, I then saw Senzo running towards me, trying to grab me. I grabbed him, but I could see that he was weak. He fell into my arms. Then I saw a spot of blood on his back, and I turned him over. I saw a lot of blood on his chest. He fell over on the couch, and I held him while screaming for help.
Actually, assist me here. Wasn't that blood in and out?
I think so.
So why would the blood be just tiny? Like it's
It was
a
tiny
needle.
at the back and a lot on the chest, according to Kelly's
At the
statement.
back where he was sleeping, wasn't he sleeping facing upward or was he sleeping facing down?
Sleeping where?
Wherever he was hiding, Senzo.
I don't know. They said he leaned to the corner between the TV couch, the TV stand and the couch. That's according to Miss Popola. So I don't know. I'm confused, guys.
But even though, be as it is, I don't know. But for me, I believe that there should have been a lot of blood.
Yes. According to how it's being described, that on the chest there was a lot of blood, some of it should have drizzled and drabbled in the movement.
And the problem that I have, another problem that I have, is the fact that he could have walked from the kitchen to the sitting room. Walked.
After being
At the
shot.
close range. I mean, let's make an example. I'm sorry to make an example. After watching that video of cops, did you see, like, what I saw, the first bullet, that guy went down. And it was not even a close proximity.
It was
a bit of a distance.
He went down after the first shot.
Yeah, he was just going down on the other ones. Yes,
SAPS
yes.
guy and
So
the JMPD.
so when you look at, you are struggling with the person, and then it's an upper, and it's almost similar thing. Upper body. They call it what? Life box.
A life box.
So
He still walked.
he still walked from the kitchen. I don't care how short that distance is, but he still walked.
At the time, the gunman was still in the house and my son was standing next to him. Such an important testimony, and the state did not want it to appear before the court, allegedly. What an important testimony.
So when they said allow, and you see, this is where it gets even more complicated. The son was standing there watching all that.
Yes.
The son did not
And
run.
you know what is even more profound about this statement? It sounds like that recording on Netflix, on the Netflix documentary. It's exactly the
My
same.
son saw everything, type of a thing.
Well, my son saw everything. I don't think that part is there. But the fell into my arms.
Yes.
When she was
yes,
crying and
yes.
stuff. It was
like a savior type of a thing. I'm sorry to say, but that's what he protected me. He was protecting me against that intruder. He fought like a brave man.
Khumalo then said, where he was walking from the kitchen to the dining room, did you see any drops of blood? Then Zandi said, no, I didn't see anything. What I saw is that he was leaning. Khumalo asked, that was between the TV stand and the couch, and Zandi said, yes, that's correct. You told this court first that the first gunshot was in the kitchen, but a statement by your sister Kelly suggests the struggle was in the dining room, and Zandi said, I can't answer that. You can call her to ask her. Kelly's still alive. What a shady answer. Then Khumalo then said, according to the statement of Kelly, when the gunman fired the shot, that shot was fired in the dining room and the deceased subsequently fell over the couch. Then Zandi said, I disagree with that. That's not true. Okay. So here, in my opinion, and it's a question. So Zandi, are you implying that your sister lied in her statement? Did she just throw her sister under the bus here?
It looks like that. I mean, not only her sister, according to me, what I'm seeing is that even Longwe is not safe.
The state objected and asked for the pointing out where the struggle was in the dining room. And Khumalo had to read that part of the statement again, where he said he went into the living room where his friend was. I then remembered that my child was in the other bedroom and I opened the door to see what was happening behind him. I only heard gunshots. So the judge asked, where do you say the struggle was in the dining room? And Mr. Baloyi says, it's not there. So read it for Mr. Baloyi again, and Baloyi said it's an inference. There's nowhere in the statement where the witness related that the events happened in the kitchen. And I'm like, just like there's no part in that statement where it says the struggle was in the kitchen. You know? Baloyi is annoying, but I can't deal. Then the judge says there's no citation where you say the struggle was in the dining room. Then Khumalo said I'd leave it for argument. So he left it for argument, that one. So did the intruders not say that you must lie down and not move? And then Zandi said they never said that. So Khumalo said, so when the first intruder said you must take out the cell phones and money, did you surrender to the demand? Then Zandi said, no, we didn't. Why not? Why would you give your belongings to someone? Like I said, when he said the mind froze, it's because it didn't to register to me at the time that he was being serious. So they asked her, were you also shocked? And Zandi said, I just said so. I just said yes. During that state of being, when you were shocked, as you say, ma'am, you froze, you were in a position to identify the second intruder in the state of being shocked. Then Zandi said, I think you heard when I explained that in my statement, that when they entered, I peeped during that popolaring. That is where she saw whom it was. The second one, when I tried to hit him, that's how I saw him in the face. So Khumalo then asked, you had not said that until I asked you now that you were also in a position to see and identify him. That is the second intruder at the time that he entered. Then Zandi said, I said it. Baloyi objected again, and the judge said that she had said in her statement that's why he wanted him to put them on the record. Okay, so Khumalo then said, is it also correct that there was pushing and shoving inside the house? Then Zandi said, yes, that's true. There was also shouts. If I remember well, I think there was. Yes. Do you remember when there was a time when the last intruder left the house? And Zandi said she didn't look at the time. So for how long would you say that the second intruders remained inside the house to the first intruder that left the house? So Zandi obviously didn't want to answer that question, and she said she didn't look at the time. So they asked her, is it correct that you have not said anything regarding accused number 4 before the court? So accused number 4 is Advocate Khumalo's client. Right? So Zandi then said, what I know is that 2 people entered the house, and one of them I have already pointed out, like I said before, that there's another one I'm suspecting, but I will never point at them because time has passed and people change, people gain weight, and some of them have even cut their dreadlocks. And if you ask who it is, I can point them to you. What I know is that since they are here in court, they are somehow connected in some way. Listen to Lorraine.
That's the thing. Why does she think that? Why do you think that?
There's so many things that she's giving away.
Why would you think that they are connected in any way? Are you a police?
Did you speak to the NPA?
Do you believe that the police arrested the right person after they arrested the first person that you pointed, that you thought that was looking like the person, and you are saying that you did not point at that person? The same police continued to arrest that person. Why would you believe that these people are connected to that?
I'm like,
What would make you believe that? Because you are saying that they have done things that you didn't say they must do.
I'm like, how do you know all this information as well? The public has no knowledge of it.
So if you think they are connected, if you feel that they are connected, then should we take that you also pointed at the person that they arrested? Should we take that?
But they are not even arrested.
Because
Currently,
seemingly,
one of them is suing the state.
Miss Khumalo, when it suits you, you wanna work with police. When it doesn't, you throw them under the bus. You said it's them, it's not you that arrested that person. Don't you think the same people can do the wrong thing by including these people here?
That should have been a follow-up question, Mr. Khumalo. That should have been, because uLorraine ngatwazi kakhulu. So after the long adjournment, it was now Advocate ZANDILE Mshololo's turn. She brought up docket 375, where all the people in the house were suspects. So Advocate Mshololo said that that docket was taken to the Director of Public Prosecution for a decision. The DPP wrote a letter on the 26th of August, 2022.
You see, I just want to say this before we start about Mshololo's proceedings. The beginning of what Mshololo said, I give him 100%. The first few minutes, I give her 100%. There is a mid part that I'm gonna deliberate on that I'm not happy about, and I have reasons why I'm not happy about. And then the last part, it was almost really good. So kudos to Mshololo in terms of her beginning, even making sure that 375 is visible.
Yes.
Because they are using a lot of things out of 375 there.
Yes.
So I'm happy with that. I'm also happy with the ending. But there is a mid part that we need to discuss.
Okay. So transferring jurisdiction of case 375/1 2019 from the area of jurisdiction of the DPP of Johannesburg to the area of jurisdiction to the DPP of Gauteng divisions. The amended directive will be handed up in court. The office of the DPP in North Gauteng is mandated to make decision in Voslera's case 375/1 of 2019 in light of the fact that the decision in case 375/1 of 2019 depends on the credibility findings by the trial court in the current trial involving case 636/10/2014. I have decided that the decision will be made at the conclusion of the current trial. So advocate therefore had questioned the jurisdiction on the case 636. 375 is the one that was supposed apparently to appear in the Gauteng High Court, which is in Pretoria. So now they are both of them being trialed in this case at the same time.
Let's say a piece. It's like taking a hand of 375 and using that hand.
Let us all reminisce and remember how people called Advocate Tifo crazy.
The lawyers actually, which is very, for me, when you look at it, very disappointing that eventually we are here and everything is like a replay. I'm not a lawyer myself, but you look at that, I mean, you would expect lawyers then to stand up for what they think is and what they believe is right of what you studied. Because, for example, I mean, I think law is the only thing that is open for discussion you cannot come to me and say you have created a certain model that is defining something. When I test it, it doesn't do that. And I accept that. No, we don't do that.
Go back and fix it.
It needs to go back, or I would literally tell you that you are not even qualified to do this thing.
Let's get somebody else.
Let's get somebody else to do this thing.
Yes.
But you find law, which is something that is supposed to be free, to apply more freedom of speaking when we are supposed to speak properly. The fact that lawyers are not supposed to talk on social medias like we're doing now, to me, it doesn't make sense, that thing.
It also doesn't make sense to me. There are so many lawyers who can't speak freely on social media.
The fact that the cases are hidden.
It's insane.
The fact that the cases are saved wherever they are saved, they must be accessed by lawyers in South Africa. In South Africa, not in America.
It's insane.
It's insane.
I
And then you hear
it.
them sitting there on what is called that thing, ENCA or SABC. Yeah, this is the case, this is the case. And then we see the same thing coming back into play. And then no one says anything.
You know, they were not.
It's a bit. It's yeah, we are back again. Continue.
This exhibit supports that there was no intruder who was inside the house. Then the judge said, "How can you say that? I asked that this letter be submitted to the court as an exhibit." This was what the outcome of the decision is. There was another version. It was addressed to all the legal representation. So Mshololo said they had issues as to why the other suspects were not arrested yet, and that is the answer they were given. So Advocate Mshololo had issues with why the rest of them were not suspects yet, and to satisfy them, that is the answer that they were given, you know, and they have not yet been charged. So they have not yet been charged. They're just saying they should be arrested. There's a recommendation for that. They have not been charged yet, guys. So they asked Ms. Khumalo what her occupation was, and she said she's a singer and an artist. For how long has she been doing this? She said she started in 2016. And they asked her if she's qualified to do that. And she said yes. And the judge said, how can a singer be qualified? You just sing. But have you heard of a gentleman called Bahlatini? When I sing and you sing, all of us sing. But Advocate Mshololo would like, it's important to get the qualification of the witnesses. And then the judge said, maybe you want to say, did she study music? And Zandi said, no, I didn't study music. It's a talent that I was born with. And then they asked her about matric. Hi, Lorraine. Wow. Wawanenkani futhi wathi kungenaphi lokho. So we're going to take it Lorraine has no matric, eh?
You studied marketing. What did you use to study marketing?
Maybe she did with a TVET college, you can still study further, I think. Yes, in fact, I don't think you can.
What was that marketing then? What is it called?
Maybe it's a certificate, but she didn't want to get into the details of what exactly is happening there. But I think it's a certificate if she did study, and especially if she didn't have a matric. Yeah, it's probably a certificate. So she did marketing, and they asked her if she's testified in court before, and she said this is the first time ever. So Mshololo explained to her that as a witness, what was expected of her, and how she needs to respond to the court, to assist the court, not to assist her, making it clear, drawing those lines that, Lorraine, I'm not here for you. I'm not fighting. This is for the court. Then Mshololo said, you testified on the date of the incident that you were drinking alcohol. How many alcohol did you drink, or how many cans? And then Khumalo said, we all drank except for my mother. How long did it take from the time you entered drinking you entered the house drinking up to the time wherein the so-called intruders came in. And then Zandi said, I never looked at the time, but for the entire duration you were consuming alcohol. And Zandi said, yes, 3 cans. So Mshololo said, how much liquor did you buy? And Zandi said, I don't remember well. So Mshololo asked for photos to be shown, which is Exhibit D, the photos of the alcohol cans. And Mshololo asked, those are the pictures we have of the cans of alcohol that were found by the police when they arrived at the scene. There's no other pictures depicting more than 2 cans. Do you agree with me that you did not only buy what is depicted in those pictures? And Khumalo said, we bought alcohol worth 400 rand and we still got some change, so I'm not certain. She really didn't want to answer how much alcohol they had bought. You know, and Khumalo said, I hear you, Mshololo. You bought, Mshololo asked, you bought more than 2 cans, which was what we see in the pictures. And then Khumalo said, yes, there is no clear evidence submitted before this court in terms of the photo album of the crime scene for the real amount of alcohol that was consumed in the house by the way or the use of empty cans or unused cans. And Zandi said, I hear what you're saying, but the dustbin at home was not in the house. It was outside, so I don't know. So Mshololo then asked, did you clean the house? And then Zandi said, kutlina bani? Cha. So who's cleaning? No. Direct translation. Mshololo then said, I hear you referring to the dustbin. At what stage was this house cleaned? And when could the cans have been removed? Then Zandi said, every time every person was done drinking, I was the one taking the cans outside. So for me, this completely changes the picture. This means that she was moving around a lot. She was the one taking the alcohol out of the fridge to give to the people in the house. And then after the people were done drinking, she was the one taking the cans to go outside and throw them away in the dustbin outside. You wanted to make comments on alcohol and the questioning of alcohol.
You see why I have a problem with the questioning of alcohol and repeatedly bringing that into play. More so when you had De Novo, you know that these people have been debunking the issue that they were drunk.
Yes.
And my problem with that is that it is collapsing the whole case, the Senzo case, the nature of the case, its existence. Because what happens if they say we were all drunk, up drunk? We remember the people coming in, but we don't remember. Maybe that's why we couldn't react, because we were so drunk.
That really kills the case now, doesn't it?
375 gone.
It kills the case because
36 something is gone.
The influence.
If really there was a making of this case, they didn't think it through. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't need law to say this. I think to kill this case, they could have said that, considering that there are no residue taken and anything. If they were, they didn't find anything, because they would be arrested, right? If anything happened inside the house. Right? Which then comes with that theory of an intruder, which sort of aligns with the theory of an intruder.
Yes.
But to say you were drunk, you couldn't say anything, sort of kills the case.
It does, honestly. And I think she should let
If
it go.
all of them, they were like, okay, yeah, sharp, 100%, fully we were drunk.
As you bengidakiwe kanjani, yo angibonanga lutho, yo ngibone nje vele
I only realized in the
bhambo bese mina ngathi hey ngaqasha ebathroom ngapopola.
something like that. It's gone. Why do you keep on?
The whole case is gone.
So yes, and we know that their job is to actually get these people who are there exonerated, but I believe you can get these people exonerated without killing it.
Yeah, true.
So why do you keep on going back to that thing? Hey, were you, how many, why were you? The only thing that I realized that I would use there is that she was the one who used the door a lot. I mean, what...
coming in, going out, going in, coming out, yes.
Yeah, so she would know the state of the door. Was the door open or closed? Did you close the door? Were you the last one to touch the door? Did you perhaps expect someone? Why did you leave it open? Do you leave a door open when it's at night? Stuff like that.
So, Mshololo then read a statement by Sylvia Happy Ngubeni, a witness who arrived on the scene after the shooting. Zandi says she doesn't know who it was, but then after they confirmed her address and the fact that she was self-employed as a hairdresser, Zandi could now remember her, even referring to her as Mom Happy. Now, in the statement, it is written, and I quote, "I didn't see the hat she was referring to, and she was not carrying a hat in her hands. When I arrived at the Khumalo's house, the doors were closed. I don't know who opened the house. Myself, Maggie Piri, Julia Masia, and Gugu went into the house. Maggie Piri started to pick up the empties from the floor. I asked her why she was tidying up the place before the police could arrive at the scene. Maggie responded that she doesn't want the police to see that the people who were in the house were drinking."
Yeah, I think people don't get me why I'm saying if they were drunk, they couldn't. It could kill the whole case, obviously. Even the people, it would exonerate the people that are in custody right now, but it kills everything. Because you cannot be a reliable state witness.
You can't be a
You cannot.
state witness while you were drunk.
Because they will eat you alive. You were drunk. How can you draw a person and get people arrested when you were drunk?
Maybe
so that's a
cross it
shortcut of finishing it. If they were to admit that they were drunk, then they could not see things properly. And they are unreliable. So
case closed.
Case closed.
And both of them would be closed by the
Case
way,
closed.
including 375.
Yes, all of them, they should be closed. Because anything that you will touch now, it will close. I mean, someone will come and say, "You guys were drunk. Do you agree to that?" "Yes, we agree, we were drunk."
And then whoever needed to be charged would be.
So, in that part,
facing
the
the
first part,
music.
I liked it. That part, I didn't like it that much, and I've said it before. And the last part, I liked it because I've also said that part that they must find a way, man, of making these people pin against each other, which is what we with Khumalo and Mshololo, we're starting to see that disagreement. He must come and testify and stuff
speak
like
for
that.
himself.
Speak for himself. Yes, the last part I liked it. The last part you were, and the second part of alcohol has no bearing in the last part. The last part is basically changing the scenario, changing the tables.
Then the statement continued to say, "Myself, Gugu, and Julia then went outside, leaving her inside the house. She later came out of the house. It was not long after we went outside. So can you see that someone else cleaned the house while you went to the hospital?" Zandi was asked by Advocate Mshololo. Zandi said, "I wouldn't be able to testify on what other people said. I was not there, but she wrote it down, meaning that she can prove it." Okay, then continuing to read from the statement, "The police arrived at the scene and they went into the house. I can't remember who opened the house for them. They came out and I always saw the police and I thought the police were always in the vicinity. Later, a contingency of police arrived and cordoned off the scene with tapes."
So my question then would be, when you say they were always in the vicinity, what do you mean? Were they always around when you took Senzo to hospital? Were they there? Were there some police people there at the time when you took Senzo to hospital?
That is something Ma'am Happy will have to assist us with. And then Baloy objected to the reading of another statement that Mshololo wanted to introduce, saying that it had not been proven. The judge asked if it had not been discovered, and Baloy said it had been discovered, but it must first be proven. Mshololo asked to leave it for now and that she will prove it later. Now, any lawyers in the house who can please help and explain
We
to us
have
what was
lawyers
up
here, but
with
what I've
that.
noticed about lawyers is that they are always fighting each other. They are trying to prove who's right, who's wrong. I'm right, you are wrong.
Well, I need
You know,
assistance with the proving of the
they are
statement.
always, they are, instead of learning from each other and taking something from this lawyer, because you are not the best. You will never be the best. Even, who's that guy who was helping Pretoria, Oscar's Pretoria's? Perry.
Is it Berry or was it Gerinel?
No, Perry. Gerinel was NPA, isn't it?
Berry.
Yes. As good as he is, he still has to learn every day. That's a problem with lawyers. And it's
The
hard
learning
to
never
learn if you have
stops.
arrogance. They have arrogance, most of them. Very
Yeah.
hard to learn if you have arrogance.
The learning never stops when you are a lawyer. That's what I'm seeing. And reading partly from a statement by Queen Gugungubeni from Togoza, she's unemployed. Zandi said that she does not recall her as well, but her statement was signed on the 20th of July 2018. It said, and I further heard my mother saying, Mapiri, why are you tidying up before the police could arrive at the scene? I didn't see what she was doing or removing. I went outside, and while I was outside, Temba said the house had to be locked. Everybody must go outside. I then gave him the key, and everybody was outside the house. Temba locked the house. Now we need to know who Temba is.
Temba isn't a brother
The brother.
of Kelly's mother.
Okay,
The
the
uncle.
one that they mentioned, that Ntetwa mentioned and talked about that he found when he went to the scene. Then Mshololo said, can you hear someone else is saying Mapiri cleaned the house? Then Baloi raised again to object that it's hearsay. She's talking about another person, what they heard from their own mother. And then Advocate Mshololo repeated the statement from the part where it said, further heard, and the judge said that she should go on. So Zandi said, I am hearing from you and I am hearing it for the first time today. So she continued to read. When my mother was asking that why Mapiri was tidying up, she responded that she doesn't want the police to see that they were drinking. Later, Nomakaya took Tingo, saying it was cold, and myself and Kaya went to the hospital. So Zandi said that she didn't see them at the hospital. There's no evidence before the court showing the amount of alcohol that she consumed on that day. And then Zandi said, so what are you saying is that when I'm testifying, that does not count? And then Advocate Mshololo, it does not appear on the documents of the court. And then Zandi said, Kusho wena. That's what you say. And then she further on went on to question, I assume that the robbery incident, if there was any, took place after you had consumed alcohol, after you had froze. And then Mshololo said, did the first intruder say anything? Khumalo then said, yes, take out money and cell phones. Mshololo then asked Mtogozi Sitwala in a statement in 28th of October 2014, says the first intruder said, we were busy chatting, quoting from the statement, when suddenly two black males walked in, and I'm not sure if the door was closed or not. Kelly was standing on the passage between the sitting room and the kitchen at the time, and the first one had a firearm in his hand, and he said, Futek, take out cell phones and money. Asked if she could hear the insult, Khumalo said she didn't hear the insult. So Zandi said, let me explain this. The freezing of mine had happened when people were already inside the house, not before and after he said take out the money and cell phones. The other ones with regards to the insults, I didn't hear. So Mshololo asked, you didn't hear because you were frozen or you had drank alcohol? Then Khumalo said, that's your assumption. And then Mshololo said, you said the first suspect was in possession of a firearm. The second suspect didn't have anything. Then Zandi said, I didn't see anything he was carrying. Then Mshololo said, if you are unable to see what he was carrying, how were you able to recognize his face? Then Zandi said, when someone enters your house for the first time, do you look at them in the hands or in the face? Mshololo calmed herself down. You know what, Ms. Khumalo? She said, you are not putting questions to me. You are answering. I will ask you to answer the question that I put to you. And then Zandi said, can the question also be clear? Mshololo asked, you testified, you looked at the second suspect as you assaulted him. And then Khumalo said, yes. Mshololo asked, how come you were not able to see if he was armed? Then Khumalo said, I did not see a weapon. Like I said, I didn't see a weapon. So this person was not fighting back, Mr. Anonymous, when they were hitting. So Mshololo said, you didn't see his face. Khumalo said, I saw his face. It was very, very clear. I saw his face very, very clear. Then the suspect said, had hoodies on his head. How are you then able to see his head when it was covered? And then Zandi said his hair was covered, not his face. How was it covered? Baloyi objected to say that the question was not clear. Then Mshololo said, how did the suspect wear a hoodie? Khumalo said the hoodie ended at the forehead. So Mshololo, so his face was not fully revealed. Then Khumalo said, no, I saw the face clearly from the forehead. The hoodie started where the hair started. So Mshololo asked, was the color of the hoodie? What was the color of the hoodie? Khumalo said, it's been 8 years now. The colors fade. I'm not able to remember. Then they started having a bickering session there. And the advocate Mshololo was like, listen, Miss Khumalo. And Zandi was becoming even more difficult, saying that she was not done answering her question. Then the judge asked Mshololo to let her answer. Mshololo then came in and said, there's no way you can look at the face of the person and not know the color of the hat he was wearing. It is impossible. Then Zandi said, the color, I don't remember, but the type of hat was a hoodie. Then Mshololo said, the reason you are unable to say the color is because you are fabricating a story. There was no intruder. Then Khumalo said, that is what you are saying. I wouldn't come here to lie to this court. Then Mshololo said, she's able to point out someone in this court so many years later but cannot remember the color of the hoodie. You know, this is where Mshololo for me did it, like scored points with me, in my opinion. Then Zandi said, I'm looking at you now. I can see you are wearing a white hat. That was advocate Mshololo telling Zandi that she was wearing a white hat. Then Baloyi objected to the color of the hat. So Mshololo said the problem with this type of evidence, the witness testified that her memory recovers as time went on. Because of that, she was able to point out accused number 2 in this court, the person she identified 8 years ago. But when asked about the color of the hoodie, she can't remember because memory fades. Sometimes it fades, sometimes it's way up. What kind of a memory is that? And then the judge said, you must ask a psychiatrist. Guys, advocate Mshololo continued to say, Mthokozisi Twala said the second suspect was carrying a knife. How come he saw it and you didn't? Then Khumalo said, we were not focusing on the same positions. Mshololo asked, you testified Longwe Twala was not armed while in the house. And Khumalo said, Longwe doesn't have a firearm. Even on that day, he didn't. I didn't see it. Then Mshololo, but he was able to push away an armed person. And then Khumalo said, you can ask him where he got that courage. And Mshololo asked, you are a woman. You say you froze and you hit a person who was carrying a knife, according to Mthokozisi's statement. Then Khumalo said, there were many of us. I was also assisting. Mshololo asked, you said 2 other shots were fired while you were in the bathroom. And Khumalo said, yes. Mshololo said, you cannot dispute that if anyone inside the house disarmed the suspect and shot the deceased. Then Khumalo said, when I moved away, Senzo and the first suspect were wrestling. The judge said, let's hear your response, ma'am. And then Zandi said, when I moved away from Senzo, Senzo was the gunman, were the ones fighting for the gun. Then she said she doesn't understand the question. Then Mshololo repeated the question. Will you dispute that one of the persons that were left after you ran to the bathroom are the ones who took the gun from the suspect and shot the deceased? Then Mshololo said, are you then suggesting that Senzo disarmed the suspect and shot himself? Then Zandi said, you don't ask me questions. Zandi said, I don't understand the question. Baloy objected again, saying that it was speculation. Mshololo said, it's a preposition. This is an important witness who was in the house. The judge reminded her that she was peeping, she popolat, and it's a small house. It's not like the house as a Oppenheimer. You know, the small house, these are small houses. You put your leg, you are in the kitchen. You put your other leg, you are in the bathroom. So it's not like she was running to the bathroom. Can you imagine her walking towards the bathroom? Kuvelenje inyao, and then she's in the bathroom. That was funny, guys. So the judge then asked her to explain how the first shot and how it happened. So Zandi ran over the whole thing of her running to the bedroom when the first shot was fired, how it was hit on her leg, and then she felt something. Then Advocate Mshololo said, I think my question was answered after she narrated the whole story again. So the witness did not see whether the shot was fired by one of the people in the house. Then Zandi said anything else she did not see. So Advocate Mshololo asked, where was Kaylee? Then Zandi said, in the kitchen. Then Mshololo asked, yes, where the deceased was shot. Then Zandi said, yes, because I had seen her go to assist him. Mshololo asked, you cannot say if she disarmed the suspect and shot at the deceased. State objected again and said there's no evidence of such. Then Mshololo said it's for the witness to say if she has seen that or not. Then Zandi said, that's what you say.
Does it make sense?
See it.
Does it make sense that the state would object to such?
No.
You see why I say, I think South African law, we need a proper overhauling of everything. We need to start afresh. Like, it's like we are reading the book. Yes, we have to read the book.
Yeah, we have.
But law should have that thing in it. And perhaps that's why we should have a jury. Because people like us who do not care about the laws and whatnot, we are able to see what is right and wrong. Do you understand? And then you have someone there presiding. If it doesn't like you, because as I said, this law, I would say department, there's always that fight between back and forth, who's right, who's wrong. Even if you are maybe president in Joburg of these lawyers, they still undermine you, some of them. They still think that you are not worthy to be there, you know? So perhaps we need to look at that.
Maybe.
Because imagine now that person becomes a judge. That person already has the attitude towards the person. But if it's us people who are looking after this, who are chilling there, looking, I'm listening to some of these testimonies, we probably would reach a proper conclusion.
And
without law,
to bribe, it would mean you have to bribe
the whole jury. Yes, we don't need to address people at chambers now and then. Can I address you in chambers?
To bribe about 12 people.
Yeah. Do you understand? Like, for me, I feel like our for the sake of what we call democracy, we need to look at that. We can't have one person presiding over your life, man.
Yeah, that's a bit unfair.
You can't have one person who, if he hates your lawyer for some weird reason, or because the other one came with proper voodoo,
calls the cops on your lawyer in court.
They look proper, they look clean, they look likeable, and then you are down the drain.
Game over.
It's game over for you.
Game over. You're going to the jail.
Already in South Africa, we have a bit of tribalism. Can you imagine a Zulu judge presiding over a Venda guy, or a Venda judge presiding over a Zulu guy? Don't tell me that those things, they don't align. All of a sudden, when we are wearing that mpula, then it changes that you have tribalism if you have one.
That's a conversation for another day.
Can you imagine? Now you make a Ndonga a judge, and then Tifo comes and present on Ndonga's court. What do you think would happen there? I'm sorry to make an example, but I'm just making an example of what lawyers are.
Yeah, human beings.
And whether you're a judge or what, you are a lawyer.
Okay.
So that's why that thing of the older they are, the better they are, because now you start this thing of Ubuntu starts kicking in when you are old. Now most of them it start kicking in. Guti, yeah, I'm a person after all. But 24, 25, 30, 35, 40, those people they're still thinking Guti. Hey, I'm the ish mina. When I mop the floor, what do you mean?
Ego. What was the deceased wearing? Blue jeans and a white t-shirt. The second intruder, Zandi said, I looked at their face. I can't remember what they were wearing, the clothes. That was the last thing on my mind. She could not remember everyone else and what they were wearing. She could not remember what her mother was wearing. She could not remember what Senzo was wearing. But what she knew is that she was wearing a white top. Not Senzo, pardon me. Kaylee was wearing and what Mtogo was wearing. But she, on the other hand, was wearing a white top which resembled a vest, although she can't remember well. Mshololo then said, now in a statement of Kaya Ngache, do you know him? And Khumalo said, yes, that's Mr. Ngache's firstborn son, their neighbor. And Mshololo said he made a statement about the commotion coming from the house. He peeped through the bedroom window, saw someone whose back was against the kitchen window. And then Zandi said Kaya can come and explain to us how he saw that, because you cannot see it if the kitchen door is closed. And she also mentioned that the curtains, through the curtains there was no way they could have seen anything because they always had their curtains closed. So you are saying that, advocate, I didn't see that, and then that was an adjournment. We will see tomorrow what happens with Babi Ngache's statement.
Just as I fix this, I want to ask this, and it's always nice to have these conversations. Mr. Ndonga, if he could call, what is a lie?
What is a lie?
What is a lie?
A lie is a made-up story.
Okay, so you are going to represent me, and you are a lawyer. And you come to me and I tell you, look, man, Emil, I stole that thing, by the way, but I want you to find a way of representing me such that I don't go to jail. I don't even want to go and admit that I did that thing. You come, you prepare your case based on that instruction. Aren't you lying?
I'm lying.
So lawyers lie every day. Come on.
Oh no, I saw it with the Besta case.
Lawyers lie every day.
Guys.
Let us look at this case, for example. Let us look at this case.
I saw it with the Besta case.
Let us look at this case.
This is what
This
I'm gonna say.
Let us look at this case. Wasn't Kaylee part of people who were going to testify before we went,
I don't think so.
He was not.
If that is the case, because I'm thinking of Advocate Monsami's demeanor and behavior and how she was just enforcing on getting those court transcripts and statements and knowing what was happening, being on the watching brief. And she would do her media runs and say that actually her client had not been called to testify or has not been called yet to be a witness. So even before De Novo, it looks like Kelly was never going to be called to be a witness for the state.
Okay, let's say so. Let's say he was never going to be called. Let's say so. He was never going to be called. But is that good?
No, it looks horrible for the state.
I mean,
really
at the
bad.
end of the day, with lawyers, it's all about winning.
Yes.
How you win, it doesn't matter. Even if they come now, these people, and say, look, man, actually some of these things we probably might have, because we're halfway, you'll probably fight and be like, no, man, you can't do that. I'm just thinking out loud. You can't say lawyers don't lie on oath. By the way, that thing of oath, I've questioned it before.
You put in the Bible.
Hey, what if I don't believe? What if I don't believe in like Veiws, for example?
What if I'm not a Christian?
What if I'm not a Christian? That thing
Then
doesn't mean
what?
anything to
What
me.
am I gonna be put under oath for?
Those are
which?
things that
What
we
is
should
gonna
be
be
debating. Those are things that we should be debating because not all
if
of us.
I am sworn to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, and I'm not Christian, I'm not obligated to tell the truth. I'm not a Christian, remember?
There you go. So let's go, guys. We're open now.
I'm kidding, guys.
Obvious. What if I don't respect that Bible?
Then what? We have so many religions, so many people who believe in different things. So you're telling me that you're going to use the sworn a Bible thing and it's just going to work for everybody? Some people, their conscience will not be held hostage by swearing or soaring on a Bible.
Exactly.
It does nothing to them because that's not what they believe in. What do you say about those people? You know, are they obligated to tell the truth and nothing but the truth? So help them God. So those are the things that really we have to rethink now because things have changed so much. And is it fair for the weight to be only given to the judge? In my opinion, it's not fair. It's too much.
But that thing of law, one thing you must understand, it's all about enforcing. Zanzi, hello? Zanzi, hello? Zanzi, hello?
Unjani Mr. Anonymous?
Siyaphila mfethu njani?
Ngiyaphila. Unjani lapho Emily?
Hawu ngiyaphila sis.
Hayi mina ngizokhuluma ngoFrozen nje namhlanje ukuthi hayi yazi she just thrown state under the bus. Into engiyibonile.
Yeah.
Nanokuthi futhi nje uMaphiri ubaluleke kakhulu la kule case because she was instructed. Mina ngokubona kwami makaphuma uZandi ahamba aya lapha kwaMaphiri bekuyosho instruction. Hence mabeloko bambuza uMaphiri ukuthi why uthinta crime scene lapha yena athi kumele ukuthi ngisuse lamabhodlela.
Yeah.
Or whatever ukuthi bebephuza utshwala obungakanani lapha. Uzani kusho ukuthi bekoyom instructor lapha ukuthi thina sesiyaphuma siyesibhedlela. Wena usale wenza 1 2 3 4 lapha endlini wenza sure ukuthi before amaphoyisa afika uyenza leyo nto leyo.
Allegedly. We have to say that.
And another thing.
Yeah, continue.
Oh, ngithi and another thing, uKelly mele azazo testify because kufundiwe ama statement wakhe namhlanje. Angithi if angezi phela into efana nokuthi hearsay, angithi bathi ayifuneki hearsay evidence. Mele azosho ukuthi lama statements vele uwashilo vele.
Yeah.
Ene mina nguKelly ne bengizwana noSenzo ngumama womuntu I mean uSenzo kubaba umntwana wami. I would love ukuthi justice yenzeke for ubaba umntwana wami. I understand ukuthi why mele act as if uyi suspect la. She's just a mere witness ezosiza icourt ukuthi kutholakale ukuthi ubani obulale ubaba umntwana wakhe. That's it.
I hear you. Thank you very much.
Ngiyabonga kakhulu.
Yes.
Thank you. That was my 2 cents.
Thank you. Guys, please like the video. I see people are sending me things. Others I cannot say them here online. Okay, 30 minutes late now. Okay, right. Okay, this is someone who was just saying something, but you can still call, guys. Please like the video. And 400. Thank you very much for liking the video. It was difficult today. And subscribe also if you can. You do have that time of subscribing, but I don't know. Many people are saying that I don't like what Mshololo is doing. I liked, as I say, I liked the last part. I'm hoping that is going to continue with that last part tomorrow and do more damage there. Obviously, you are a defender. You are a last person. You are probably the hope of this. And I'm hearing that. Ndonga is saying that. I want to ask you something, Ndonga, in terms of saying that one accused goes down and then everything goes down if you work together. So what happens if accused number 2 and 3, they go down and they say, no, wait. Our drivers were these people. They were waiting at the, even if they were lying. doesn't that mean that they still go down? I'm just asking this question because I saw what you were commenting. So I'm going to use you because you are a person who's knowledgeable more than us here in terms of law. So what happens? Let's say you fight, and then at the end of the day, these ones, they realize that they go down, and now they go on and admit, yeah, in fact, by the way, we did this thing, but on top of doing this thing, we didn't do it alone. You guys were waiting for us by the park or something, as there were such things. You guys were waiting for us. So you helped us to get there. In fact, you even gave us all the material that was needed. So what happens? Doesn't mean that you still go down. I'm just asking because these things we must ask them. This case is already by its own nature connected in my thinking. It is connected. So already they are there because one person said I was sitting with so and so. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, there was a line of them coming in one by one. So how does working independently in this case help you? Maybe there might be an answer to that because that's what I'm looking at today. How does one working alone and shining and winning and say you are about to, and then all of a sudden, as the judge is busy standing there telling me that accused number one, you are found guilty of saying you're on, can I please address the court? Say, no, listen, I was not alone. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Johnny.
Hello, how are you?
Ngifuna ukubuza ukuthi umama Senzo.
Yeah.
Umama Kheli utshelwe ngubani ukuthi ukubosenzo sebahamba ngoba bonke bekabhema uKheni noSenzo bebabuya e-tech shop. And uloka umama Senzo waphuma on the statement wathi beze bazovalelisa ne. Utshele ngubani ngoba abangenanga uKheni noSenzo bebabuya e-shop labo abanye bebabhema la ngaphandle. Utshele ngubani le ukuthi bahamba.
So previously it was that Kelly went and fetched them according to Togo. It was like that. And then now we are hearing that Kelly's mother is the one who did it herself. To say, come inside so that we can talk inside. Stuff like that.
Yeah, but the problem is they plan.
Problem ngati?
What's the problem?
What's the problem, caller?
Hello.
We are struggling to hear you because you are listening at us before you answer, but you can just use the phone.
Yeah, kusho ukuthi ibe kuyiplan le ukuthi ngoba laba if bebahambile ne ngaphandle.
Sure.
Why baphinde babuye bahlale lapha bashaya ama jokes. I-problem yami ukuthi umama wazi kanjani ukuthi abantu bayahamba la ngaphandle.
Because mhlambe ikhola le izokuansarisha.
Okay.
Yeah. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Johnny. Mr. Anon or Emily.
Sikhona Johnny, how are you?
I'm fine.
Yes.
Hey, mina ngine problem encane la. Ngazi uKheli unesibindi esinganani. Witness lapho uZandi uthi mabedubula kokuqala wabaleka yena waye bathroom. But mangathi ulandele kusho ukuthi uSenzo either wadutshola inhlavyo yesibili okanye yesithathu. But into enhlakayo yena mayiphipha lapha nechecka uyambona uKheni ulandela uSenzo. Uya lapha nesithulu. Ama intruders umbuzo wami uthi akuphi lapha. Kusho ukuthi yena engasabi ukuthi bangamdubula ngaleso sikhathi. Because uyamlandela instead ukuthi yena uthatha icover. Ngicabanga ukuthi mina into ayifanele yenze leyo uma qala nje kudutshule for the first shot ayifanele enze lento yenziwe uZandi. But uthi yena uyambona uyamlandela uyalapha. Apha ama intruders.
Then Zandi would say Kelly must answer for herself.
Yeah, okunye angangafona lapha anonymous alanyana nje kule show yenu.
Yeah.
Ngiyakhumbula indaba yesibhamu. Fanele singakhohlwa lokuthi uMr MC isibhamu bathi bona kwaku i-revolve 38. Umsi amayifika the first day lapha akazange eyithole i9mm. But ukukhumbula ukuthi umsi uphindwa abizwa for the second day. That's why lesa sibhamu lesa namanje ngisasho mina ukuthi u-accused number 3 njengoba besho ukuthi mhlawumbe kune case lesasibhamu sasitholale kuyo. Lamaphoyisa asithatha lesibhamu asiplanta lapha that cartridge. That's why manje kuthiwa lesasibhamu lapha lama cartridge ele 9mm. Why umsiye engatholanga for the first day? Bambiza phela umsiye lama cartridge manje ngikhumbule lapha esinkini atholakala the next day. Yes. And then okunye nginenkinga ngozalo uzalo concentrate kumuntu bengakaphathi isibhamu. Bazi kakhulu kulokuzana intruder number 2. Lo engane lutho umuntu ozoconcentrate akho efanele ukuthi ayamazi umuntu wayephethe isibhamu. Why fanele azi ukuthi no umuntu engambona mina accused number 2. So
hayi siyakuzwa.
Seyilento kalokuzana kaloko. Angeke Mr. Anonymous ukuthi igebengu zizobamba inkunzi zivumela umuntu ezophuma for isikhathi esingaka ngaphandle bengaphumi bengenzile ukuthi kuze kwenzeke la shoving enzeke esitiri to the kitchen but lokho abaphumi but lokho dala ephumile umuzi lo ngayekwenza ngaphandle and why bamvumela ukuthi ephume Kubuthungu izinto engicabangayo mina ubuwa kwami either labantu laba if bakhona abantu abangena beza nayo ulongo it was their plan ukuthi bazofika kubenzeni and then uzophuma.
I know.
Ngibeke lapho yami njalo.
Siyabonga mfethu.
Asibonke.
It is alleged. We are speculating here. We are alleging. What is interesting for me is that bullet that hits the door. What is the definition of that bullet?
Hey.
Because
bullet at the door.
Because we are not told that long where when he was moving out there was a shooting. No. We are not told that. We are told that okay, the first bullet went down. That's what we know. The second one, and then we don't know where the second one was or the third one. But between the two of the last two, might have created damage.
Because I'm trying to imagine.
So, what is an explanation of that one that is hitting the door then?
I'm trying to imagine the wrestling of the gun and how it would have gone down.
Zanzi, hello.
Seeing it.
Hi guys, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Before guys, ngibuze Zandile, okay, she's a singer, Ushanjalo. What kind of music she's singing?
She sings Afro-pop-ish, wedding
Sorry?
type of songs.
Yeah, something like Wednesdays or something. I don't know. I don't know the song. Amalobolo.
Stuff like
There's
that.
always stuff like that.
Wedding songs in a summary.
Okay, because they are claiming that they are well-known people. Even Kelly, actually I didn't know Kelly before the case, to tell the truth, because
Kelly
I couldn't tell Kelly and Kanyimbao. Because I'm a sort of nah, it's not my thing. Even in Babona, Gokans Bay, Cape Town, I can't even tell what's okay, Bandung in Bonayo. I didn't know all these people, even Boman Pinja, I just knew them now, Masatwaba Shomil and all that. So, going back to the case, I like Zandile's attitude today. I actually love it, because he said it all. Khumalo, if I'm not mistaken, Khumalo. Okay, I didn't listen to Khumalo, only listen to Mshololo. This case, intenza kalile ko Zandile. Trust me, Zandile bafuna manje ukukhuluma iqiniso, but ayisekho indlela okubuyela emuva sekumele bastick kwi-story sabo ngisho sebebona ukuthi akusahlangani because they can see that I mean they can see that but okay uSenzo he got shot in the house obviously one of the people was in the house and then into eyenza ukuthi they took him to hospital they was all traumatized they didn't even see that he had no more because Senzo ushone besakhona lapha I don't know if on the way to hospital okanye kubo kakheli but abazange babone ukuthi useshonile trust me if babonile ukuthi useshonile they was gonna take Senzo's body bayilethe KZN kwamandisa or they was gonna bend the body as they was able now ukuthi benze story ukuthi khona abantu abawu2 abafikile and also that story sokuthi two people who came benze baba rob and so on senzeke after babalongwe bavakashelile esibhedlela and then because according to ZANDILE she saying ubaba kalongwe masefika angazwa wanxiya ngobonda a very typical from ZANDILE by the way wanxiya ngobonda uma ucabanga yini traumatizer ubaba kalongwe because it's not Senzo's father.
Good question.
Why he was so shocked? Why he was even called? So yonke lento okukhona abantu abangena started there. Not ukuthi as soon as bebona ukuthi kuyadubuleka and then baqala bakhe story. No, story senziwa after they did pass down. Then the story came up with okay, guys, we can't let omunye wethu go to jail. And I can tell you the person who put the trigger by mistake wasn't a man, was a woman. Because the man, even the man is not expert kuibamu, but the man know what the danger is. So umuntu esifazane won't even know ukuthi isibhamu sesikhokhiwe uzosibamba nje noma kanjani ngoba ebona yini isibhamu ukuthi sizodubula. So whoever put the trigger was a woman. Wasn't Longwe, but was a woman. But the gun indeed belonged to Longwe or Longwe's father.
Allegedly.
That's how we got them involved in this case.
Okay. Akasiza ukuthi bathini nganabi bekuphikisa impela allegedly awamba ubuka kuma comments.
Allegedly.
Everything you said allegedly. Awamba ubuka kuma comments.
Bayampikisa.
Bayampikisa bayakhala but hayi. I think they are saying that Kelly is definitely, I also agreed, Kelly is talented in terms of singing. But the sister, I honestly speaking, the sister, I don't know the sister. I know the sister in terms of just knowing since the case started, but I didn't know the sister I didn't know the sister before that.
You didn't.
Mzansi, hello.
Mr. Anonymous and Emily, how are you?
Hi.
All good, sir.
I'm very well, thanks. I've got one question first and then I'll proceed with my other points.
Okay.
Which of these include us? The one in front with a gun or the one who had a knife at the back chased Kelly to the other bedroom? That's my first question, yeah?
The second one? With the knife. With the knife, or maybe you may say no weapon according to Zandi, maybe, yeah, that one.
Okay, the second one runs and then chases Kelly, and then they start attacking the one with the knife, and then they push him. The guy with the knife doesn't shoot anyone. Everything happens, ended up Senzo being the one who is shot at. My point now is, if you look at all the witnesses that have come, none of them are saying I was there when Senzo was shot. They are saying me, I ran away. Twala, the other, I think it's Twala, not the first Twala. Mtoko. Yeah. Mtoko said me, I just walked out, and then Khumalo was hiding in the other bedroom, and now it's only Kelly and her mom who is left with a gunman, because apparently the second man with a knife followed Mtoko's Twala out. So it's only Kelly and the mother who is remaining to see where the gun comes. And the state doesn't bring Kelly to the case to testify, because she is the key witness. Zandi is not a key witness. She is just talking about what she heard. She couldn't even say who shot. So And the other thing, I was listening to the father for Longwe Twala the other time. I think the 2016 interview.
Yes.
He is saying when he got cold, he is saying, I'm not quoting something that I'm just out of my head. He went to the house and asked them what happened. At the house, and they saying Senzo was lying there, and they told me that 2 people came in and attacked the guy. So I'm asking myself, the guy is saying he stays in Apple in Joburg. To drive to Phosphorus is 50 minutes. If you can drive 50 minutes and still get there and find Senzo lying there, was there an attempt to even take Senzo to the hospital when he was shot? I would say no.
Where did you hear that interview?
If you go and listen to Longwe's father's interview, the first one that he did, I think it's in 2018. I will tell you the date.
Okay. We'll check that.
Just hold on. Yeah, it's in February of 2018. It is. He was talking to Mastaba and Mo Flava on Metro FM in February 2018.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other point as well is we are now. I'm saying he drove from Apple because he even explained that he stays in Apple in Joburg, which is closer to Cincinnati, and then the longest stays in Four Ways. Because there he was explaining that I don't see him because he stays in Four Ways and all that. Longwe in his interview, Longwe says, when I got there, I didn't have my phone. I left it at the house. When you go to, but you can see this SMS that says, I'm outside, which shows that he has got the phone. And Longwe got mixed up with his phone story. And then in trying to explain, he says, I ended up running away with my phone in my pocket. And then, come on, you said you didn't have a phone because that's why you didn't call the cops. But when the master was asking him, did the criminals take your phone? And then he says, no, I had it in my pocket. And all this time he had a phone in the pocket. He doesn't call police. Zandi runs outside to go to Mapiri and the other lady. No one calls the police. And the people who are inside the house, they all have a brain freeze. No one calls police. And everyone is just frozen. Senzo is the one who's lying there. Right? And me, I'm just thinking, but how can the story be adding up to say, this is what happened? Because clearly, I'm not saying, I'm going to say allegedly. Yeah. Because in my own point of view, I'm not too sure who killed Senzo, but definitely the people who were inside the house, their story doesn't add up. And I'm not too sure if the law allow these lawyers of ours to have a listing of all the interviews that I'm talking about. Because if you listen to Longwe, he was talking because he was also trying, it was the first time that he spoke, I think. He was trying to explain what had really happened, but in his explanation, I didn't see him explaining, because in the end he says, I was outside, so I didn't know what happened. So the key witness is Mam Khumalo and Kelly Khumalo. Those are the two, because they were the ones who were there when Senzo was shot.
No, thank you very much. So, let me answer this man. He has been calling. Mzansi, hello.
Hello, Mr. Rolimas and Emily. How are you?
Good, sir. How are you?
I'm okay, man. There are a few things that I want to ask, man. If we were to remember, people in the house were frozen when after Senzo was shot. But when they get to hospital, as they're alleging, it took them less than 10 minutes. After some time, the Chigotwala arrived in the hospital. When was Chigotwala called?
Good question.
Because I believe that if the state did their homework, they should have checked the phone calls that were made between whoever was in the house with Chigotwala to establish at what time was the call went to Chigotwala, so that we can know whether these people were frozen in the house or not. And if it happens that the first person to be called is Chigo before the police, then we need to know why Chigotwala, not the police. I believe the lawyers, they were supposed to ask for these records because they are available for Vodacom or MTN. So they can build their case.
And add +2 to that. +2 hours.
Then the second thing is about the judge. You know, these lawyers, I believe that They don't have that eagerness that the four had. The four was invested in this case. These guys, the judge is trying by all means to show them the direction they're supposed to take, the questions to ask. But it looks like they are so down. I believe, I'm alleging that maybe even that meeting they had when they were given money, maybe it's a legal aid something. Maybe something happened there that demoralized them from attending to this case as they were supposed to. Because last time they came with that vavavoom, but this time around, that vavavoom is no longer there.
It's gone.
It's gone, and I don't understand why. Then the third thing is about the intruder that they are saying. The Longetwala pushed one and he ran out of the house. Then Kelly ran to her room, and the intruder followed Kelly to the room. I'm asking myself, Kuri, between Kelly and Longetwala, which one the intruder, if indeed there was an intruder, was going to follow? Because the one that went outside is going to call the public to come so that these people can be killed or be beaten up. So they were going to prioritize a Longetwala over Kelly, who went to the house, to the room in the house. That story doesn't make sense to me. And again, the guy is in the room, at the door of the room with Kelly. The other guy standing this side. I want to understand how were these people pushed, both of them, to the wall next to the door. It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
Yeah. Let's hear what others are going to say.
Yes. Then allow me to put this last one.
Yes.
You can go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, the other thing I wanted to ask is that they are claiming that the phone was taken by the intruder. Kelly's phone was taken by the intruder. Can these defense lawyers ask for the phone records to check and to trace the phone? Because I heard it was an S5. I believe the S5 was having to know it can be traced back or when did it left the house.
Yes.
We're gonna establish exactly if the intruders were there and they left with the phone.
Yes.
Because I don't believe that the phone left immediately at the time of the incident, as they are alleging.
And it's the only one that was taken.
And the other one was left on the stove. Senzo's phone was left on the floor where they passed. And they didn't take it and they were there for phones. This doesn't make sense. But anyway, what can we say?
Yeah, that phone definitely needs to be traced.
Yes.
And the time slots of what calls happened, when did those phone calls happen? Because it doesn't make sense that it's the only phone that was taken. While you left an iPhone, was it iPhone 5?
Exactly. That doesn't make sense to me.
An iPhone 5 was more expensive at the time.
Okay, yeah, no, we hear you. Thank you very much. Let me give you $1 million question. What I would like to know is, when did Ntogo leave the house?
Leave the house during the incident?
Was it the time when they were fighting? Or just right after Longwe?
According to his previous testimony, de novo, it was during the scuffling in the kitchen. He said we couldn't make sense of how he passed through 6 people in that tiny kitchen who were wrestling. But he said he made it out.
Okay.
In the midst of that.
Here's $1 million question. There were 2 people that got into the house. One left the house chasing Mtogo. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, you are right.
Then the $1 million question is, which one chased Kelly Khumalo? Is it the very same person? Because there were 2 people, remember? It can be the other one chasing Kelly Khumalo, the other one chasing Mtogo.
Mtogo at the same time.
Same time. No. Which one?
And remember, he got the beat down with the crutches as well. The very same person that Mtogo said ran after him was the one who was beaten by the crutches, allegedly.
That's why I would like to know when
Zandile's
Mtogo.
testimony.
That's why I would like to know when did Mtogo move out, because this person chases Kelly Khumalo. I would assume that's the order of the day, and then comes back and chases Mtogo. Is that the case?
Just before chasing Togo, he's beat with crutches.
No. Don't distort that part.
Okay.
When the person runs outside and chases Togo, which one was busy? Which one did they become busy with? Because this same person is the same person that chases Kelly to the bedroom, isn't it?
It is.
And then
So
it's the same person that they take to the door.
Did Mtogo have anybody run after him is the question.
Now, I don't know whether they're going to ask that question now or should they wait for Mtogo to clarify that question.
It needs to be clarified now because it's not making sense with Zandi's testimony. It's not aligning. It's not together.
Exactly.
Because this is a lot of time. The time from pushing and shoving and pushing the bedroom door with Kelly to the time of the beatdown in the kitchen to also run after it's a lot. And this, remember that the beating of the second intruder happened while the first intruder was having that altercation with Senzo.
Yes.
With the door closed.
So did that person all of a sudden left and decided to say, okay, I'll come back for you guys to beat me. Let me chase this one who's going out.
I don't see that happening. And then on top of that, when did Mtogo get out? Because Senzo was busy at the door with the first intruder. So when did he get out?
That doesn't make sense.
No, it's not making sense. The more they testified, the more it's just a mess.
No, it doesn't make sense.
It's a mess.
Not unless they say there was
sense.
a dead person.
But who, how? And then the other one just denied that the white t-shirt could have been seen through the window. At least that could save you to say that, you know what, they were away from the door. But you are debunking that there's no such, it could not have been seen through the window.
So through the window?
The kitchen window.
Is it a kitchen window?
Yes. She said the curtains cover the window, so there's no way that Ngache would have been able to see the white t-shirt.
Okay.
So if the window is also being debunked, it means full time. That's where Senzo was shot, behind that kitchen door, and it was closed. How did Mtogo get out? How did the second intruder get out?
That's what I would like to know. So the other one chased Mtogo.
According to Mtogo.
Think about it. The other one chased Mtogo. And then, okay, it's fine. Did you leave the fight again? Maybe that fight of scuffle of Togo to me, everyone there on that page. Did you decide to, okay, let me leave this one now. Let me chase
before
this
I
one.
leave, let me push Senzo and the first intruder that are squaffling behind the door, wrestling behind. Let me move them so that I can get them.
Don't get me wrong. I do believe that Mtogo did jump the wall or whatever that they say jump.
No, he's debunking that he jumped the wall.
But the neighbors are saying that.
He went around.
The story is corroborating it in a sense. I don't care if but it did arrive to the neighbor.
Yes, he arrived.
There was her presence. There was his presence in that house of the neighbor. So the question is, how did all that happen?
It's a good thing he's going to testify again.
Look at it that way.
Now that we have Lorraine's testimony, it's a good thing.
But they should ask that question.
Yes, they must.
To Lorraine. You know why? So that Lorraine can have her version. And then Mtogo would come with her version, his version.
So, guys, are you calling in or what?
I think, Emily, it will not be fair to me.
Okay. So, guys,
I have
it's a
early
wrap.
meetings.
Tomorrow, it's another day. It's another court proceeding. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. And sorry about the technical difficulties. We apologize. But please like the video. Please like it either way.
Let's say you had less than a minute. What would you do with it? Hello.
Hey, Mr. Arnold.
Good, sir. How are you?
So, hey, ngiyaxolisa ubuye kwesibili ngithanda le $1 million question yakho ibuza. Vele basho njalo kule before le yokuqala bathi umthoko oxoshwa i-suspect number 2. But okunye uku-add kule $1 million yakho Mr. An. Phela khumbula babaphushile kwavaleka the door. It means that there's no one who's gonna go out. That's why we have that bullet on the door. It means the door now was closed. So uphume kuphi umthoko? Ngikade question yakho nami ngiyawuzwa kahle but problem umthoko uphume kuphi because they were against the door ama suspect baphushile the door was closed and then that's why sinaleya imark ye bullet uphume kanjani kumthoko
hayi asazi mfowethu ake sibalalele ukuthi bazothini mhlawumbe ukhona ongaqhamuka le answer but to me it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Siyabonga.
Thank you guys. It has been nice hosting you. Please like on your way out. Share the video. This was the hardest video that I've ever shot. Share the video and we shall see each other tomorrow. Today. Oh, today.
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 Later today.